This video was created by Vinylic Puma of Vinylic Puma Gaming. What's going on, everybody? This is Vinylic Puma, and today I have found an interesting article from Kotaku, which I'll be linking in the description, about the next Borderlands game. This article is titled, "Is there any hope the next Borderlands game won't suck?" So I would like to say that this isn't going to be a Borderlands pre-sequel. It's not going to be any Borderlands pre-sequel information. What it is it's going to talk about Borderlands 2 and what I think he perceives to be the problems with the game. And actually, as a Borderlands 2 fan, in a way, I kind of agree with him. Now, I don't agree with everything he says, but there is something he did point out that I thought was worth talking about. And it's been said for a long time that the loot and the legendaries and the weapons in this game, for the most part, kind of suck. And in a way, I think he's right. I'm going to quote what he says here. I'm going to put this in context for you. He's mainly talking about issues that were in Diablo 3 with the loot system and everything. So here, we'll go ahead with the quote here. Diablo 3's problem, if people don't recall, was that they made legendaries pointless. Not really unique enough to make people who wanted something different happy, not powerful enough to make people who wanted better stats happy. For Borderlands 2, this sort of resulted from a change in how enemies worked all down the line. With the change in how enemies took damage, the most important stats for weapons was DPS. Not in an interesting way like I think they imagined, but in every enemy is a bullet sponge, and the best way to get rid of them is either a rocket launcher that's a pain to get, or throwing an exploding gun at enemies over and over kind of way. He also briefly talks about how, I guess, what he perceives to be hackers have made the in-game loot drops null and void. And he also talks about, and I'll quote this next part, it says here, it's another thing entirely to have the game's every secret transcribed on a wiki and to have all the hard-fought intelligence of the game tossed around on forums like some passé fad. Alright, so first off, I don't think Borderlands 2 is a bad game. I think the core game, the base game, the game that came out in September of 2012 was actually a very good game. Now, the humor wasn't always like amazing, but what I really think I enjoyed about the game were a lot of the side quests that went over pop culture references that I knew and that I came to learn about, and I thought that was really good. Plus, the game had really good gameplay. The gunplay was fun, and really the character building was really varied and really interesting, because you could pick almost anything, and if you kind of had some idea, you can make it work for you. Now, where I do agree with this particular article is it does seem like when DLC was progressively introduced into this game, it kind of made things bloated, and as we've learned more about this game, we kind of, I think, ruined the game for ourselves as a community. The fact that you can go on the Gearbox forums now and you can basically find out what all of the best weapons in the game are, you can find out which guns have perfect synergies with your character, and the fact that you just like all of that information is there, it has kind of really taken away from the experience of just going into the game, starting that first character, building it up and progressing, and then further enjoying the game. I think really what made me so attached to Borderlands 2 is the fact that the first time I ever played through the game, I played it on Xbox 360, and I did not have Xbox Live, so I wasn't interacting with everybody, and I got to experience the game fully that first playthrough. Like, I beat the entire game, every quest with the exception of Terra because I wasn't high enough level, but I mean, I beat every quest in that game, and I completed the entire game before I even went online. And really, I think the big problem with Borderlands 2 now is that you can basically go on the Gearbox forums and you could just find out what all of these best weapons are. And then, I mean, you just kind of go from there. Of course, he also talks about how hackers made the in-game economy irrelevant. Really, I don't think it was in-game hackers so much as it was duping, because I mean, basically what people would do is one person would spend a long time farming that one bee shield, and then what they would do is they would go into other people's games, people would share it, it would be duped, and then eventually it didn't really matter. Trading was kind of made irrelevant, which was a premise that Borderlands 2 was made on. And really, I mean, why would you trade with somebody if you could just dupe your guns for them and then they would dupe their guns for you? So, I mean, that's another thing to consider. And really looking forward, Borderlands the pre-sequel is going to be on the same engine. It's going to be on Unreal Engine 3. It's going to be essentially the same game, just with different a different setting, different characters, different playable characters, different story and stuff. But I mean, it's going to be the same game. Probably all of those mechanics will stick. And yeah, and I kind of just see this game, it's going to turn into like a Call of Duty franchise where it's basically the same thing repackaged over and over. Now, is this something we want as a community? I think in a way, yes. But in another way, I feel like it's just going to implode on itself at some point. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think the next Borderlands game, or really Borderlands in general, is just going to become so bloated and just so overdone that we're just going to hate it or start hating it? But anyway, guys, again, I'd like to thank you guys for watching the video. If you did like the video, please be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later. Take care, guys, and have a good one.